Good evening, vinyl community. So this is a thread response to Rob Walker's challenge to show 10 albums or 10 albums with titles that begin and end with the same letter. So here goes with my contribution. So yeah, I'm one of those idiots who's up for the challenge. So we start off with To the Limit by Joan Armatrading. So this is a really nice album. I think the first track is Barefoot and Pregnant. And then we've also got Bottom to the Top, which I think was the other single that came from this album. Bit of homage to Eric Clapton and the Beano album. So I think this has got the comic with Dennis the Menace on it. So yeah, saw Joan Armatrading a couple of times at the Capitol in Aberdeen. And yeah, fantastic voice, fantastic guitarist, fantastic songwriter. Yeah, love this album. Next up, one of the mod bands, Small Faces. So this is their debut self-titled album, Small Faces. So yeah, here we got the four mods. So Ian McLagan, Ronnie Lane, the drummer Kenny Jones, and of course the great vocalist and guitarist Steve Marriott. So this is on Decca, their very first album, and it's got some great tracks on it. So Shake, the great Sam Cooke number, and You Better Believe It, and Sha-La-La-La-Lee. Picked her up on a Friday night, Sha-La-La-La-Lee. So some great, wonderful riffs on this, and a really good album. So Small Faces, Small Faces. Then Queen, A Night at the Opera. So yeah, fantastic album. And of course, one of the pieces from the 20th century pop rock going in a fandango foray. And yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, wonderful track. And you've also got Seaside Rendezvous and Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, and You're My Best Friend, also on this album. This one's a bit of a cheat. Smash hits, Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady, Hey Joe, Purple Haze, Wind Cries Mary. Great, well, incomparable guitarist. Yeah, I think Townsend used to say that they didn't want to go on after Hendrix because he would have already stolen all the limelight. So there used to be a toss of a coin to see who would go on first, Hendrix or The Who. Now, another one, I haven't listened to this in ages, Whitesnake. So we have Here I Go Again as the album track from this, but the whole album's very strong. Saints and Sinners. I think you'll find, or anyone who takes part in this thread will find that the most common start and end letters are S and S. So I think Rob showed Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, and there's lots of other S's and S's. Rob also mentioned The Jam, and this one is The Gift. And this is actually my wife's LP, and this has got the single A Town Called Malice on this. But my wife, one of my wife's claims to fame is that she was in, I think it was Ibiza, around the time that the Jam were regularly at the top of the charts. And she was in some nightclub and Bruce Foxton danced with her. So, yeah. Next up, one of my all-time favorite bands, The Who. This is Endless Wire, and maybe not one of the strongest Who albums, but this is, I think, where Townsend claims he invented the internet, or maybe that was with the Lighthouse project. But this is the one where, yeah, lots of references to the internet. The really good track on this is Mirror Door, and there's all sorts of references to Beethoven and Johnny Cash and great performers, songwriters, and musicians. So The Who, Endless Wire. Next up, I have the Stones and Some Girls. I think Rob Isson stole the obvious Sticky Fingers one, but and there's also Steel Wheels. This unfortunately is a reissue, so it doesn't have the cutaway with the different faces. But yeah, fantastic track listing on this. We've got Beast of Burden, Shattered, Respectable, and the one that I really love is The Girl with the Faraway Eyes. I love the vocal to that and the narrative of the song. So I could have had two more Stones vinyl albums on display, but I'm now going to resort to a couple of CDs instead. And my next two are actually jazz related. So we have the Night Train by Oscar Peterson's trio. And this has got Georgia on My Mind, as well as Happy Go Lucky Local, which is also known as Night Train. It's also got The Honey Dripper and I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good. Great Canadian jazz pianist. And yeah, this is a really strong jazz album, but this one is even stronger. Saxophone Colossus, and the Sonny Rollins saxophonist. Max Roach's drumming on this is first class. So I really think of this as a drumming album with the wonderful sax over the top. But it's also got Tommy Flanagan on piano and Doug Watkins on bass. And you've got the sort of Calypso St. Thomas and You Don't Know What Love Is, Strode Road, Moritat, and Blue 7. Really, really great jazz album. That's my selection of 10 albums where you find that the first and last letter of the album titles are the same. That's all from me tonight, and I'll speak to you again later. Stay safe and enjoy Rob Walker's challenge.